So we are here with Professor Takyi, and he is the group chair for the Solar Energy Group under the Brew-Hammond Energy Centre. So Prof, tell us about the Solar Energy Group under the Brew-Hammond Energy Centre, some of the projects you've done or the ones you seek to achieve in the coming years.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Professor Gabriel Takyi from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I was the director of the Brew-Hammond Energy Centre from 2015 to 2017. The centre engages in a whole number of research activities, and renewable energy is one component, and currently I'm leading the solar research group. We have a number of plans on paper. About 2 weeks ago, we completed one activity, which is offering renewable energy education to the secondary school, second cycle institutions. We think that climate change is a very, very important a concept at the moment, and we believe that the vast majority of our people must be conscious of climate change and how to combat it. But in order to do that, the thinking is that if we start with the lower level of our education system, people from that level, I think that probably would be the best way to tackle this problem. Because if you go around, you see that not many people are aware of climate change and its devastating impact. You see people, sometimes they collect their rubbish and they even burn them. Okay, these are all practices that must be discouraged. Okay, and so we gave the education to them. We had 3 schools from within our catchment area. We had the Kumasi High, St. Louis, and KNUST SHS. Okay, they came here. I think they were about 12 in number with their teachers. We gave them training in hydropower and also solar energy and wind energy. Okay, certificates were issued out to them, and I think their heads were very happy about the training that the kids received. We have also got plans to do a solar energy resource assessment for Ghana, because it's important that we have a repository for our data for the solar energy resource in terms of the power plants that are listed across the country. We need to have information regarding where they are and their capacities and all that, and even including standalone projects that we may be able to identify. I think we need data for all of those ones.
Okay. Why do you think solar energy is important to Ghana and even Africa in terms of energy transmission?
Solar energy is very, very important in terms of energy transition for Africa and Ghana, because first of all, we have it in abundance. We have the solar resource in abundance. If you look at the insolation for solar energy in Africa, I think it's around 4 to 6 kilowatts per meter square, which is very, very significant. So in terms of access, I think solar energy resource is very important and also better for our cleaner energy future. Okay. Many Africans actually lack access to electricity. And this, for me, hinders economic development and social progress. So it's important that we have large-scale projects, solar energy projects to address these things. Additionally, solar energy will help Africa reduce its carbon footprint. Help Africa reduce its carbon footprint, and also serve as a means for mitigating climate change and its attendant impacts. Okay. Renewable energy, particularly solar energy, will also, if successfully implemented, the transition will help unlock new job opportunities for the teeming youth of Africa.
So, Prof, let's look at how Ghana's energy landscape has actually evolved over the past years.
You mean solar energy landscape?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I think when we talk about solar energy, for me there are 3 key applications, and there is the raw state, where you use the solar energy for in its raw state for drying our cocoa, foodstuffs, and other commodities. So there is also the application where we use it for heating water. There's a thermal application. We use it for heating water in our homes, and also in hotels. Then there's a third application where we use it to generate electricity, which I think is the focus of this interview. Okay, so in terms of electricity generation, is gaining more attention during the past few years. But about 10 years ago, there's no record of any major power plants, solar PV power plants, okay, in Ghana. But at the moment, it's quite different. At the moment, we have something around 112 megawatts of capacity of PV power installations in Ghana, which is quite significant. So currently, Ghana is making strides, significant strides in solar PV power generation. We have plants such as the 50 megawatt solar power plant at Bui. We have a 20 megawatt solar power plant at Onyaze. This is the BXC, which is Beijing Zheocheng Company, based at Onyaze. I think it's in Western region. Okay, this is a 20 megawatts. Then we have 13 megawatt solar power plant at Kalio, operated by VRA. Then there's also another VRA plant, which is a 2.5 megawatt plant at Navrongo. And also a plant, which is a project in pipeline under construction, a 50 megawatt solar power plant at Pualugu. There are also other projects in pipeline. When all these projects in the pipeline are completed and added to the current capacity, which is the 112 megawatts, then I think Ghana will be very close to achieving the planned 10% renewable energy mix that we have projected by 2030. I think we should be very close to achieving that target.
Then it means that Ghana is actually making strides when it comes to solar energy.
Yes, I think we are.
But let's look at some of the challenges and some of the opportunities that comes with.
Yes. I think in terms of the challenges, the first one I will mention is the limited technical capacity within the sector. For instance, the research and development that is needed to strengthen and undergird the PV market is very, very limited. Okay. For instance, I think about 6 years ago, the government of India gave one of the universities in India $40 million, okay, to set up a solar PV reliability lab. Okay, for me, this shows that India is very, serious about their PV market, okay, and development. And this is something that we should be doing. Okay, we need to have centers where experts will be able to identify degradation issues and help address them. Because if there is a drop in power, where is the problem? How do you identify the problem and address it? So for me, the R&D, the research and development that we need to strengthen the market is not there at the moment, and we need to work towards it. Okay. Okay. And there are other challenges as well. Okay. There are other challenges. For instance, land acquisition. If you want to do large-scale PV project, acquiring the land is problematic. It's not an easy thing. There's also the initial capital cost. Okay. The PV technology is quite matured, but the cost is quite high. So for me, this is also another challenge. And also the intermittency. Okay, the intermittency. Sometimes, the sun is not 24/7. You don't get the sun. In fact, solar and wind, they suffer this problem of intermittency. Wind too have a similar problem. If the wind is not blowing, they can't generate.
Yes.
Okay, same as the solar. If there is no insulation, if the insulation is poor, you cannot generate. And that means that you need to resort to storage systems like batteries. Okay, that is another challenge. Okay. There is also, but there are opportunities. Okay, but before that, I have to mention that many Africans, we call it the off-grid solution. Africa has a large off-grid population.
Okay.
You know, many people live off the grid, and this for me presents the opportunity for what we call distributed PV systems. Okay, which can also be looked at. So for me, this part here is opportunity. I know maybe your next question will be opportunities, because you've mentioned challenges.
Exactly.
Okay. There are also opportunities. One is what I've just mentioned, the fact that most communities are off-grid. We can have the distributed systems. There's an opportunity. There is also reducing the carbon footprint through solar energy is also an opportunity. Climate change related issues, sustainable development, and also access to electricity. We also have access to electricity and job opportunities. So these are all opportunities that we can get from the solar energy.
Okay, but are there
projects,
policies currently when it comes to Ghana in terms of support for solar energy adoption?
Yes, a number of physical instruments. There are a lot of policies, and the policy can be found in the Ghana Renewable Energy Act.
Okay.
Act A32/2011. Okay, this act actually provides the framework for renewable energy development, and within the act there are so many provisions. There are so many instruments. Okay, for instance, we have a fiscal instrument such as tax breaks, feed-in tariff, grants and subsidies, net metering. So these are all instruments that can help develop the sector.
Okay, so how can organizations, institutions partner with the Solar Energy Group under the Brew-Hammond Energy Centre in order to come up with ways in implementing solar energy in Ghana?
Yeah, I think this is a great question, and it's very, very important, this partnership. Industrial academia partnership. I remember some years ago, maybe about 8-10 years ago, a German company came over to us. They wanted to partner us because you see, we have a peculiar weather. The weather we have here, especially in the north, is very, very interesting. So most of these PV manufacturers, okay, they use simulation in most of the most of the work that they do. So they don't really have the natural weather. Okay, so I remember Vancouver, they came to us, as I said, about 8-10 years ago. They wanted to, through the energy center, set up a test facility in the north, at Tamale. Yes, in the north. We went through a series of meetings, but in the end, we did not hear from them again. We need to encourage the private sectors and even the government to partner us so that we can take the drive. We can push this agenda, because the PV without R&D, a strong R&D, you won't get very far, because there's a whole lot of things that are involved. For instance, if the government of Ghana goes to, let's say, China to go and procure solar panels, okay, they go and then they have people, middlemen, who front for these things, okay. Because of their pocket, they may not do the due diligence, the technical parts. They may not look at it, and then you just purchase you bring the panels, put them on the roof. After 1 or 2 years, you see that the power, you are not getting the power that the manufacturer tells you are going to get. And because of pressures on most of these manufacturers, okay, some of them don't last long. So the warranty claims that they have given you, they may be out of business. So who are you going to claim, the warranty from? And basically, because of competitive pressures, they also come up with unrealistic warranty proposals or claims. Okay, so it's very important. If you want to succeed in solar, this is the way out.
Okay.
We need a strong R&D.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof, for the interview.